How's it going, all you guys and girls in the Illumination? Time to jump aboard the Loon Train. It's JJD, JJ the Illuminator here. Also known by almost countless other aliases and nicknames. But we won't get into that right now. Today I want to talk about something that happens at work, not as much lately. It used to happen a plethora of times many years ago. And it's these, I call them like backroom deals and stuff like that. Let me give you an example. And this isn't really a backroom deal, but it's along the same lines. I'm in a union. There used to be a thing called overtime before the pandemic hit. But the boss that we used to have many years ago, the rule is if you're calling on the phone for overtime, or even if you're asking in person, the people have 10 minutes to decide if they want that overtime shift, especially if it's over the phone. You might have to leave a message on the answering machine or voicemail or whatever. And sometimes with the person's wife or husband or whatever, they have 10 minutes. You have 10 minutes to call back. But this particular boss didn't want to have to deal with calling dozens of people to try to get his people that he needed for overtime. So there were certain people that would never say no. There was this one guy, he has since passed away. He was an older guy, and he would never say no to overtime. Other people as well. But this guy didn't need the money. He just had this attitude, why should I let somebody else get the money if I can get it myself? Well, the thing is, a lot of other people needed the money, and they needed the overtime, and every time he took it away from someone else. So if you hear anything, that's the cats running around upstairs. Honestly, to take overtime when you don't need it, I mean, that's a whole nother story. But anyway, he since passed away, and we don't have overtime now as it is. Getting back to my story, the boss just wanted to call people who he would know would say yes, so he wouldn't have to call dozens and dozens of people looking for his overtime group. By seniority, they have to call. Anyway, with the union, that's not how you're supposed to do it, because certain people would be working all the time, and there was a time where overtime was plentiful, and certain people were getting 20, 30 hours a week overtime, because, you know, when people are calling in sick and you need people to cover certain buildings in certain areas, certain shifts, the overtime was plentiful. That being said, I really believe that the boss, the only reason why he skipped around was because he didn't want to call a lot of people to get his people. So, but the thing is, being a union member and being a steward, you know, people would come to me, you know, when I was the steward, and people would come to me. Even when I was a steward, they came to me because they knew I knew what was going on, and I would put a stop to it. And to have to go into the boss and say, why did, you know, Bill work 4 days in a row and other people like myself didn't get called? And there's no way around it. It's public record. It has to be, whoever's working overtime has to be posted, because we have something called an overtime slip, and it shows the seniority, and it shows the people that work, and it shows the different overtimes that they worked. So it all has to be posted. You can't get around it. But why do they do it? Other than laziness. You know it's against the union. Every time you skip people, you have to go back to them. So it made this big mess. You know, he tried to have different overtime, the boss, different overtime seniority lists to say, well, these are the people that work weekends, and these are the people who don't want to work weekends, and these are the people who don't want to work third shift, and these are the people who will work third shift. No, it's one list, one seniority list, one overtime list, and the bubble goes around, as we call it. You stop at number 16, well, then the next time you start at number 16. You know, the last person that worked was number 15 on the seniority list. Well, then the next time you need overtime, you start with number 16, and it goes around and around. All of these lists, what a big mess. Anyway, I digress. Why? Why do people need to make things hard? Put your comments below. I'm off to the races. I love you all. Stay safe. This is the Illuminator, and I'll be back. And before I get out of here, I just wanted to say a big thank you for coming over and watching. It really means a lot to me. If you liked the video you just saw, hit that thumbs up button. I'd really appreciate it. And if you haven't done so already, please click that subscribe button. It's 100% free. It'll help keep you up to date on all my videos and vlogs. And don't forget to ring that bell.
so cold. Maybe some porridge will warm me up.